Hello and welcome to the show. Today's episode is going to be a very noisy out and about one because I'm actually in the car park as we're doing this, but I'm about to hit the road today. I have to go to Villa, so let me just make this podcast recording real quick. So today we're going to look at how we arrived at the ICP, and that's the ideal customer profile or the ideal client profile for ABC Decor. Now, for those of you who listened to the previous episode, ABC Decor is a company, not the real name, because I don't have the guy's permission to talk about this. So I'm preserving the guy's identity. So ABC Decor, that's the fictionalized name of his company. We had some interactions a while back. He didn't end up becoming a client, so that's the reason why I'm talking about his company here, anonymized, of course. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is because I think the conversations that I had with ABC Decor are a perfect example about how to explore growth strategy, growth opportunities for your company. So this is the beginning of a series that I want to use to wrap up 2024, so that you guys can step into 2025 with some ideas about how these ideas apply to you, these strategies, these tactics apply to you and your businesses. So we're going to wrap up 2024 exploring ideas for growth strategy and tactics, specifically the conversations that I had with ABC Decor, and let's see how that applies to your own field. So before we continue, let's do the usual shout outs. So first shout out is to my homeboy, Kwaute Raphael. He's a web developer, and I know I pronounced the name correctly because once I saw the spelling, I knew that, okay, this is a TIFF guy. So he's a TIFF guy for sure. So Kwaute Raphael, thanks for listening to the show. Reached out to me on LinkedIn. Kwaute, I have some recommendations for you because on your profile, you say that you develop S-Class websites and that you also do GSAP React.js. Now, I've made a podcast episode in the past about how those of you who are techies, people that have tech specialties and stuff like that, how sometimes, you get it twisted. Because let's face it, your customers might be ordinary guys, like me. And to be honest, for ordinary guys like me, I have no idea what an S-Class website is. I didn't even know that there are different classifications of websites. I just assume that websites are different according to the purpose. So if you're trying to get someone like me to be a client, you can't be putting on your profile S-Class websites or GSAP React just JS. When you're coming up with your profiles, just be sure who it is that you're trying to attract. If it's a regular customers like me, you need to be able to talk in terms of the benefits that one gets if they have an S-Class website, or the benefits that somebody gets if they use someone who is GSAP React.js certified or whatever. I'm assuming that that's a certification. I could be wrong. So when we're beefing up our profiles and talking about our businesses, talking about what we do, for those of you who are techies, I beg you guys, be really, really careful. But then again, if S-Class websites, maybe if your ideal audience is tech savvy and they understand those terms, then sure, by no means, just ignore all the things that I've said. So Kwaute, thanks for listening to the show. If you're like Kwaute and you do tech related stuff, always remember, instead of putting all that tech thing on your profile, just speak in terms of benefits to the customer, so that ordinary guys like me, when we see, will now understand oh, okay, this is the kind of website I need for my business, and then they hit you up. Then also shout out to Samuel Efe. Nigerian, we didn't gist, so I didn't get where he's from. Discovered the podcast on Spotify, reached out to me on LinkedIn. So Samuel Efe Obrikoho, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that name right, because the Koho is Kogho. So Samuel Efe Obrikoho, thank you very much for listening to the show. He's a copywriter and a ghostwriter. Then also shout out to Ahmed Obieto. I know I'm not pronouncing that one well. So Samuel Obieto is the sales manager for Emerson and they cover, I think he's responsible for sales Nigeria, Ghana, and Equatorial Guinea. That's a really handsome portfolio, and I'm sure that you're being paid as such. So let's see. Yeah, he said he stumbled upon the podcast and he thinks I'm doing great work on the podcast. So thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed Obieto. I appreciate the kind words. So Kwaute, Samuel Efe, and Ahmed Obieto, thank you very much for listening to the show. Those are the shout outs for today. So Like I said, what we're trying to do is looking at how we arrived at the ICP, the ideal customer profile, for ABC Decor, not the real name. And the whole point is we're trying to explore tactics and ideas for growth strategy and see how it applies to your business. So as we're listening to this series, whether you're a wedding photographer, whether you're a fashion designer, whether you export charcoal, whether you sell catfish or whether you sell cars, just be listening to it without mind frame. All these ideas that we're talking about today, how is it going to apply to my own business? How am I going to use it to move my ministry forward? So the first question that we tackled for ABC Decor was this whole thing around ICP, ideal customer profile. Now, I want to answer the question, why? Why are we even bothering about this whole thing of ICP? Because we need to determine where we're going to spend most of our time or most of our attention or most of our resources when it comes to sales and marketing. Because money is tight. The economy is hard these days. You can't take the small money you have. You say you want to run Instagram ads and they're just running it everywhere, running it anyhow. They're just wasting money. And it's the same thing with time. You can't just be wasting time or money. So that's why this whole thing of ICP becomes really important. Who am I supposed to chase after? Who am I supposed to be pursuing? You need to figure out this thing first and foremost. And then once you decide, spend your time chasing these people. Spend your money chasing these people. So that's the reason why this whole talk about ICP is really important. So you should be thinking about that. Whether you do catfish, whether you export charcoal, whether you sell cars, or whether you do solar energy. You need to figure out who is my ideal customer. Then for ABC Decor, how we decided on ICP, because if you remember from listening to the previous episode, the ICP for him was corporate offices, hotels, homeowners, real estate developers, and property managers. Now I know that that's a bit broad, customer segments versus ICP, but we'll get to that in the future. But I just want to tell you guys how we arrived at that: corporate offices, hotels, and then homeowners, real estate developers, and property managers. Now, how we arrived at the ICP was quite simple. So first off, what we did was we looked at his trading history. Trading history just means who are the people that have paid me money before. This is a very good way to start, because the thing is, if XYZ classes of people have paid me money before in the past to do business for them, then chances are that XYZ class of people might be good people to do business with in the future. So that's why it's a good idea to look at your trading history. Open up your computer, open up your WhatsApp, open up your invoices, open up your banking app, and then you start saying, okay, the time when big money was hitting my account, who did it come from? Okay, it came from Okechukwu, it came from Odogu, that, and then now give you a sense that, okay, my best customers are actually Igbo guys between the ages of so and so who deal in this and this and that and that. So that's not a bad way for figuring out your ICP. So look at trading history. Who has paid you money in the past? Open up your WhatsApp message, look at the conversations, check your invoices, your bank statements. If you have an invoicing app like I do, open up the invoicing app and then look at it. Where did the sweet money come from? And so trading history. And that is how we arrived at the first two. Because ABC Decor, the people that paid him money in the past was corporate offices and hotels. That's where most of the business had come from. So that's the first part, trading history. Then the second part of your ICP is a little bit of common sense and a little bit of who you desire to work with. So that's where the whole thing of homeowners comes in now. Because he has done small work with homeowners and it's something he wants to explore. And so getting to homeowners, that's why we're now talking about real estate developers and then property managers using a channel strategy. And remember, channel strategy is you're trying to run after some customers. There are some people who already do business with those customers. So just hook up with them, partner with them, and then see what you guys can run. See how you guys can address the market the same way. You take your commission, or people take percentage, or however it is that you want to do. That's what the channel strategy is. So here you can see a very straightforward approach for deciding your ICP that we did with ABC Decor. So first off, trading history. The sweet money, where did it come from? In his own case, the sweet money came from corporate people and from hotels. So do the same. Get your WhatsApp messages, get your invoice, get your whatever, and start trying to figure out who paid me money the most, where did sweet money come from, where did the big money come from, who has been paying me. Just look at it. You start getting a sense of who your ideal customers are or who you should be running after. Then number two, use some common sense or who you desire to work with. They want to do some work with ABC Decor. He and his crew want to work more with homeowners, so we put them on the list. And it sounds big, it sounds fancy, it sounds tech, ICP, but you can see that the way of arriving at ICP can be a very straightforward, common sense approach. So it's not something that takes a long time to figure out. So Oh, sorry, I forgot. For those of you who would love to connect with me, the phone number is 080-6466-2140. You can also connect with me on social media, especially LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. So if you're trying to unlock growth in your business, step one is let's get clear on the ICP. ICP just means, who are we chasing? Who are we pursuing? Who are we running after? That's the central question. Or else we are going to waste time. We're going to waste resources. We're going to waste money. We're going to waste whatever it is that you have running after the wrong set of people. And so to get clear on the ICP, the questions you need to ask yourself, you just sit down. Sit down with your wife, sit down with your husband, sit down with your business partner, sit down with a pencil and a paper, sit down with momsy, popsy, or sit down with your mentor, whoever. Sit down with your pastor, your alpha, and get a sheet of paper. And then you start asking yourself these questions. Trading history. Who has paid me for business in the past? Start writing it down. Then some common sense. Who do you want to work with in the future? Or who might be interested in this product or service? As you start writing it down, a clear picture will start to emerge about who it is that could be your ideal customer. Now, one thing that you guys need to know when it comes to sales is it's not, how I put it, it's not a science. There's some trial and error, there's some art here. So the fact that we are starting with trading history and common sense, who do you want to work with, does not mean that is where we will end. But it is a very good, sure place to start. So you can start and realize that this way we're starting is not working out. Based on the market feedback I'm getting, I should be paying attention to these sorts of people instead. It's not a problem. It is part of the sales process that we take feedback from the market when we're going out there and we're trying to get in customers. So it's not a problem that you start one way or that you end another. But the surest way to begin this thing is look for people who have paid you. Where did sweet money come from? Who are the nice guys to work with, the nice girls to work with? And use some common sense. Who desire to work with? Then start getting a sense of the psychographics or demographics. Let me start demographics. Demographics is just the easy stuff that they taught us in primary school in Nigeria. What is the person's age, occupation, ethnicity, where do they live, all those sorts of things. Those are demographics. Then psychographics, that's the newer stuff. What are their hobbies? What are they interested in? Stuff like that. So it is from sitting down with a pen and paper and a trusted resource, doing some brainstorming sessions, we'll be able to come up with the demographics and the psychographics of who we should be running after. That is how you will know that, okay, for my business, I should be looking at Igbo men aged between 60 and 75 who live in Anambra and Enugu and, blah, blah, blah. You'll be able to get a very, very tailored, direct sense of who you should be running after because you've done this exercise. That is how we make sure that we don't waste money when we're running our Instagram ads or our Google ads, because you know exactly who to target. Because if you say you just want to target Nigerian men aged between 60 and 75 and you just blast it out like that, that could be anybody. It could be Tiv men, Benue State, Nasarawa, Taraba State, that same age. It could be people in the east, that same age. It could be people in the border towns, almost like all the way up to Niger Republic. It could be anybody. So when you find something that narrows it down small, it helps. So if it is men 60 to 75 in Anambra and Enugu, it helps. If you can narrow it even more based on psychographics, maybe people who are African I was going to say African traditional worshippers, but I don't know how you would target African traditional worshippers in using Facebook or using Google. Let me see. But you catch my drift. The more targeted, the more narrow you can make it, the better. So let's run after a specific target, and then the odds, the chances that we're going to be successful with our sales and marketing efforts, the more the odds are increased. So yeah, that's it for today. Let me just rush home, get the kids ready so we can hit the road. Joining message for the rest of you who are traveling to Villa or who have wonderful holiday ideas. It's my prayer that we're all going to have a wonderful Christmas, especially those of us who are traveling. And the people that we're going to go and meet, I hope that we meet them in good health, everybody in good health, everybody in good cheer. And that, bad as bad, rough as the economy is, hopefully we'll all be able to flex and have a good time. And looking forward to wrapping up 2024 strong so that we can start off 2025 even stronger. So have a safe trip. For those of you who are hitting the road or hitting the skies, or if any of you are traveling by boat, if people travel by boat still. So everyone have fun. If you'd love to connect with me, then call me or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Again, on social media, on LinkedIn, the name to look for is Tabashima Ayide. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.